Part 2 of the video I did yesterday. I called this Clemson fans need to chill out. And it's based on a phone call that I had today with a good friend of mine. I'll dive into that in just a second. Hey, I'm Brian Knight. I'm not Bobby Durkins, at least not right here. If you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. So a good friend of mine called me today and he said, I listened to your video yesterday about the Clemson practice, spring game. It's glorified practice, by the way. And your thoughts about what was shown there, what was not shown. And I made it halfway through. He's at work. He's doing his thing, but he's listening to the video. He's a very good friend, very good supporter. By the way, Parker Henderson is in here. Good to see you, Parker. But he texted me at first, before he called me, he texted me. He said, I made it halfway through your video, and I just want to tell you, I have to disagree with you. I have to disagree with a lot of what I've heard so far. Now, with this said, he's a good friend of mine. With this said, he's been a great supporter of the Bobby Durkins channel and the Not Bobby Durkins channel. Also, isn't it interesting that someone who is a friend of mine, who has been a supporter of both my channels, could be bold enough to tell me that he disagreed with me, and it's okay. It's a lost start in society. What happened to me? Oh, guys, I got to make fun of myself there. I stuttered. But it's a lost start in society. I can't say it. That you can have a disagreement with someone that you're friends with. So what was the disagreement? He said, Brian, I've listened to your talking points about being worried about, what Clemson will be for this season based on a glorified scrimmage in front of everybody. It's a glorified practice. And he was like, I normally agree with a lot of what you say, but I just disagree with this video. I mean, I've made it halfway through and I've just stopped. I didn't even want to finish it. And I was like, well, that's farther than a lot of people get with my videos. And so, folks, I want to come on here and I just want to clarify something. I named this Clemson fans need to chill. And I want to say this to the entire Clemson football fan base. We all need to chill. We all need to chill. The basis of yesterday's video was to focus on the group of people who has PTSD over the past few years. Now, I'm not saying that towards my friend. I'm saying this towards all of us, including myself. And that is, Clemson football started digressing, believe it or not, during Trevor Lawrence's sophomore year. We didn't realize it. They were putting up big numbers, but there was just this fight that we just didn't see out of them anymore. We get to the next season after the butt whipping, with LSU. Well, everybody's like, well, that was an LSU team. But then we saw we got our tail handed to us by Ohio State. Well, Tony was sick. Well, Tony ended up not being the magic behind the football team. They were not developing players. And then we saw the past 2 years. So I made that video aimed towards people like myself who's kind of having some the PTSD. So, but folks, if you're on that PTSD side of the fan base, you need to understand something. Dabo Swinney did what we thought he wouldn't do, and that was let go of who he needed to let go. I think more of those people will be next year. But to my friend's credit, we need to chill out. Because he did go out and hire one of the best available offensive coordinators. He took him from somewhere. And he made that hire. You have to understand, Dabo Swinney's worked with Brandon Streeter for a very, very long time. He's known Streeter for a very, very long time. And so to make that change was a big deal. So for all of us who has PTSD for what's went on at Clemson for the past 2 years, especially, but 4, and we need to chill out. Sweeney did make the proper change there. Do I believe that Sweeney needs to make other changes? Yes, I do. I think that we're probably going to see a few more coaches, according to how this season goes. I think we're going to see a few more coaches let go at the end of next year. One specifically in mind. But us fans who have become pessimistic, and I want to stop right there. I'm a pessimistic fan. I'm not like the rest of Clemson fans. There's a lot of Clemson fans out there that you say all in and you're all fired up and everything. Do you know the only reason all of us believe in all in? It's because Sweeney won. Butch Jones up at Tennessee had more slogans and sayings that you could slap on the side of a coffee mug and Under Armour could use for their next commercial marketing campaign. But he wasted talent and he lost. Do you think that Tennessee fans cares about those slogans? No, they don't. The reason we care about all in is because Dabo Swinney won. And the reason that we're frustrated is because we're not seeing the same things. We're not seeing the same Dabo. But just because you point out what is wrong does not make you a smart person. I'm not a smart person if I'm like, and I've worked with people like this who they think they're geniuses because they point out the problem. Oh, there's a problem there. There's a problem there. Well, I bet you wasn't smart enough to see it. No, folks, a real intelligent person points out the problem, then they offer a solution. All right. So for us, just to be pessimistic is not okay, and including myself. Although I lean on the pessimistic side, I do offer a solution. I said, let go of Streeter, hire someone that's worthwhile, and go outside of your coaching. But he did that. And I think he's going to have to go to the transfer portal later on, because when other big teams are doing it and they're going to have success, yes. Then, so I agree with my friend that we need to chill out. Other people, I'll say this: you need to chill out. Who maybe every time Dabo speaks, you're just fired up and you think the sky is orange and everything is going to work out. I think you need to chill to a point. We're not going to know anything about this football team, anything about it, until after the Florida State game. First 3 weeks, I know Duke did better last year, but Duke should be no match for Clemson this year. Okay. Clemson is not going, I'm going to restate this, and I agree with my friend 100%. And I just want to make a clarification. It'll probably get 200 views if that. People won't care. Have a few smart aleck comments, and that's it. But just to credit my friend who reached out to me and said, he did not say this, but I know what he was trying to say. I'd like for you, if you have different feelings, clarify it. So I'm going to clarify it. Both groups need to chill. We're not going to know anything about the team until after the Florida State game. We do have valid questions. There's valid reasons why we have valid questions. But credit Sweeney with firing Brandon Streeter, hiring Garrett Riley, and at least he sat players who didn't have to play in the spring game. Remember, Amari Rogers tore his ACL during a spring game. You remember that? Man, what a waste. And so, folks, I just want to say this and I'm glad he called me and he said that, and I'm glad that he pointed that out, because I want to say it to both groups of Clemson fans. We both need to chill out. The feelings of both sides here are valid. The PTSD, can't blame you. I lean towards that. But I said yesterday, I'm 80-20. 80%, I believe we're going to be fine. 20%, it's going to have to be proven. It's going to have to be proven. But we still have good athletes We still have a quarterback. Yes, Cade has to grow. Yes, Cade has to do this. And I know there's changes. But you have to remember, in that practice, Cade was playing by different rules than he'll be playing with on Saturdays. Okay, the defense knew they could pin their ears back and come right after him. He had to roll out so for some of you, you said, well, he was rolling out and he was getting outside too quick. He's not standing in the pocket. Well, when DJ stood in the pocket and took hit after hit, what did you say? Well, he's got to get outside of the pocket. My question to you is, which is it? I mean, I'm being honest. Which is it? Is he supposed to stand in the pocket? Oh, does he supposed to scramble and extend the play? I'm just asking, which is it? So I want to say thank you to my friend for reaching out to me, for being honest, for telling me that he disagreed with me, and it made me want to clarify here. But I think both groups of Clemson fans need to chill the heck out. We need to chill out. It's okay to be excited, but for my nervous Clemson fans, you've got to stop, including myself, got to stop being so nervous. And then for my overly optimistic Clemson fans, and I'm not counting my friend in this whatsoever, but for the overly optimistic, I think you need to chill out. Clemson's probably not going to win the national championship this year. Clemson has a lot of things they're going to have to pull together. You have an offensive coordinator who is going to have to take, and this is a message to both groups, the negative and the positive. I mean, it's going to take some time for Riley to get his system instilled in his players' minds. And fortunately, we have to accept that. We have to accept that. But our schedule is favorable. Our first massive game, and probably maybe the biggest game of the year as far as talent and so on, will be in the Valley. You have to remember that Florida State, they're going to have to show their playbook on game one. They're going to have to show their playbook on game one. We will have film on them. Too bad for them. 4 weeks in will be the first time they see probably the majority of our plays. Now, if we get to that and we get to that game and there's no difference in play calling, okay, now maybe there's a reason to be upset and have PTSD. I'm going to go through here and I'm going to catch some of these comments and I'm going to get out of here. Parker Henderson, howdy. Hey, Parker. Good to see you, buddy. Tiger 2 Deep was up. Cigar Prepper. Hey, listen, if you make cigars and you make really good cigars, you got to let us all know, man. Said we won't know much about Clemson's football team until the middle of the year, if not later. Yeah, fourth game at least. The fourth game and at the end of it. Parker says the Roy bus ran out of gas. I agree for the past few seasons. Yeah, it did. It did. I think that it's being refueled right now. And I think that we'll win 10 games this year. We'll win 10 plus games a year. Definitely a front runner for the conference. I don't want to put too much pressure with a new quarterback, with losing some people at linebacker, Trenton Simpson losing him, questions at secondaries, a lot of things, and obviously the offensive line. For some reason, I'm not too terribly worried about the wide receivers. They have to step it up. And folks, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying they don't have to step it up. I'm saying they do have to step it up. But I feel like just some of the guys we already have out there, just 3 of them, Collins, Williams, and Brenningstool. I know he's a tight end. Nobody wants to count him as a wide receiver, but he is. Those 3 guys right there, they're going to stand out either way. Brenningstool looked fantastic spring game, by the way. He looked ridiculous. The best of the standard was gone. I think he's now trying to reel that in. He really does. Love the fact that Goodwin has done a good job and has stayed out of the crosshairs. Yes. Even if the defensive unit doesn't do that well this year, Goodwin's going to be given a pass because he lost Murphy, Brisset, Simpson, KJ Henry. He's going to be given a pass, whether any of us like it or not. See Parker Henderson. We need a wide receiver coach, not Grisham. Let me see. Love him, but he needs to start his career at Kent State type school. Yeah. I think There's a lot of people are watching him right now. Grafnar, this is the best time in history to be a Clemson fan. We would have killed to have these problems in the early 2000s. And that's what my buddy said today. That's what he said today. He said, we've come a long way, and you're 100% right. You are 100% right. I'm going to play an advocate here. But once you get to that level, there is an expectation among the fans. And that's just the evil trade-off. That's also the reason why Dabo's paid $11 million a year. They're not paying him $11 million a year to win 8 games. But I agree with you. It's give and take. Big Mick Garrett said it best. I will line up, and I don't care if you know the play. We're just going to out execute you. That is what Clemson is missing, execution. Yeah. When he said the whole power deal, explosive and powerful. Powerful is a big deal. And I've said this ad nauseum. Teams divorce that all the time. You have to have both of them to be a championship team on offense. The offense is no time to chill. From my man Jonathan Benton, he says panic. I won't panic, but yeah, the offseason is when you build. But I'm saying for us fans, we're just going to have to accept we're going to know nothing about this team until week 4, of the football season. JR, the Gent, agree with needing a new wide receiver coach. Recruiting and development are down for that position. No offense to Tyler Grisham. And maybe it's not him. Maybe he'll come out and do great this year. I don't know. Maybe that there was a lull in the team because of offensive scheme, because the quarterback not going to get the ball to them. I don't know, folks. Maybe he is collateral damage. We will see. But there's a lot of people who believe he's next. Big Mick, we saw a lot about Clemson, and Cade has a lot of growing to do by fall camp, perhaps bringing in another QB coach. Not a bad idea. Jared the Gent, Cade running backwards towards the end zone was hilarious. He'll be okay with time. Yeah. But they're going to have to get in his ear. They will get in, and they will continue to get in his ear. Parker Henderson will go Braves. I think we were putting FSU on a pedestal for some reason. Parker, that's one thing that I agree with you 100%. Florida State has done very well in the offseason. Too bad for them that they're not going to get a couple of warm-up games. They have LSU right off the bat. And, if you talk to a Florida State fan, they're going to say, hey, we don't care. We're not intimidated. Look what we did last year. The difference is, even though the game's in Orlando, which Orlando is a ways from Tallahassee, LSU wants revenge. And it'll be a good game, but I'm not ready to anoint Florida State as back just yet. But I agree with you. Velox Dry Cleaner. Go Tigers. Go Tigers, my friend. RR, Notre Dame going to give y'all some PTSD this year again. RR, my friend, if you know of a really good Notre Dame YouTuber, like the best, or two of them, and one of them I've talked to before, but I'm working on, unless something happens, on having guests on my show and interview guys from other teams, other YouTubers, to talk to them about their teams. Please drop it in the comments section and let me know. You'll have to do it in the comments section of the video because I rarely come back and check the chats. So if you do that, because I'd love to talk to them. But hey, Notre Dame's owned Clemson the past few times they played them. 2 out of 3 though. It's 2 out of 3. You remember that second time they played them, in the ACC championship when they played the real Clemson team, that didn't have somebody sick on the sideline. Yeah, they got their tail handed to them. Last year, there's just no excuse. Notre Dame played the best game of their season last year against us. Let's see. Big Mick, FSU has a very good unit return. They deserve all the pedestal they get. I just want little old Clemson to come back to the state of execution they had with Watson and Trevor. I think we all do. I want the execution of Trevor in his freshman year. Watson, definitely. Parker Henderson. Let me see. Slot wide receiver coach having all wide receivers running slot routes. I see your point, my friend. Could you imagine a fan call-in show segment? Yes. Yes, I've thought about it. Well, right now I'm looking at getting together with other teams, YouTubers from other teams, and just talking to them about their team, and just really diving into them. Maybe a little trash talk between the two, and especially if we have to play them, that'd be a lot of fun. I've already contacted one who's a very good YouTuber, growing very fast too, very fast, and it's probably not anyone that y'all would be thinking of. But this guy is fantastic, and he's already agreed to do it. So he and I will be. He will be. I'll just say he's a big Tennessee guy, and so we're working on putting that together. I want to talk to him about Tennessee football, because if you're not from the upstate of South Carolina, you don't realize that Knoxville in the Greenville, South Carolina area is about 3 hours or less from each other. And I love the Knoxville area. It's really, really nice up there, especially the closer you get to the Smoky Mountains. I really like that area too. So he and I are talking. We're trying to get a date together, and then we're going to do that show. And so I'm looking for other YouTubers. If you're a fan of another team, you're like, hey, this YouTuber, you've got to talk to them. Just drop that. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. Hey, Clemson fans, we have a lot to be happy about. Dabo did make a change in the offseason. We should be happy. And hey, we're going to be okay. And Parker says he's going to call in and talk trash. I should try to open up a line now just so you can talk trash to me, and we're friends. That would be great. That would be great. All right, y'all. Y'all be good. You take care of yourself. Subscribe, like, pass it along. You know the drill. I do appreciate it. Y'all take care, and I'll catch you next time.